Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Cooper?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm just fucking with you. We're live.
First off, language, sir.
Yeah, we're totally PG.
Music's for Santana's for all ages.
Is it?
I mean, I don't think he's extremely explicit
I wouldn't say it's no.
or at all. This album definitely isn't.
So we've been up to this weekend.
I said pretty chill weekend because my next several weekends are going to be very busy. This is actually probably going to be the last episode for a while.
Oh, really?
Well, next weekend Matt's going to be over. Weekend after that, I'm going to be hiking. Weekend after that, I'm moving. So several weekends of being booked up.
Wow, I'm just gonna be all alone here.
You can find. Well, that's perfect. You can just review that William Shatner album.
Yeah. I feel like I already got that at Comic-Con. That was such a wild experience.
Bill is a wacky guy.
Honestly, we could have just recorded that, put it to music. There you go. There's another album.
I mean, that he did. Just him talking about things that interest him.
Yeah. It was a trip. I've not been doing too much today. I wanted to I keep opening things up to like start, and I just don't have the motivation. It's one of those days.
Such as.
Like, I popped open Factorio to play a little bit, and I looked at my world, and I just closed it. I opened up Blender to do some modeling stuff like I've been doing for the past 2 weeks.
Some
Looked at
blending.
it, and just closed it. So after I finished cooking, making some chicken legs. The last bit of summer, as I sit here with a blanket on. Was my idea, but it was like 45 yesterday for most of the day. So
nice and cool.
Yeah, so summer's gone. But when I planned this meal, summer was still here. And it claimed that it was still going to be here.
I mean, chicken legs, that's at any time of year.
But it's barbecue chicken.
Still?
I was thinking like, you barbecue chicken. I got some chips and bean dip, It's like, it'll be like last hurrah of summer. And then I could move into the cold weather dishes because cold weather I make a lot of soups and stews.
Some soups,
chili.
And chilies are just warm bean dip, basically, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what your persuasion is, but I put pasta in my chili.
You're a pasta lie kind of guy. I've done it before. I can go with it. It kind of depends on my mood.
But that's the way my mom always made it growing up, so that's the way I like it.
We used to always have a skyline chili, which is like an Ohio-based kind of thing where you put it for spaghetti noodles. It's actually quite good. And like some hot sauce, and like chop up some onions, throw that in there.
Yeah, I mean,
completely wreck yourself for a night.
Yeah, it sounds very similar to kind of what this is. The recipe I have from my mom is called Wendy's chili. I don't think it. I recall having Wendy's chili once, maybe like when I was 10, and I definitely remember it being a lot more watery than what my mom used to make. But
I'm a big fan.
Nice little taste of home kind of thing.
Of pumpkin chilies. You ever have pumpkin chili?
Pumpkin chili. I can't say that I have.
Ooh, I'll have to send you a recipe that I use. It's pretty excellent, perfect fall chili.
Does it use like canned pumpkin in it?
Yeah, kind of like pumpkin puree.
Okay. Did you know those aren't actually pumpkins in those cans?
What are they?
Squash.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's pumpkin is a squash, but it's just they're not classified as pumpkins, I do have a pie pumpkin upstairs. They were on sale this week for $1.50 each. I was like, fuck, I'm not going to turn that down.
Ooh.
I'll make some culinary mistakes for $1.50. Try it out.
I made a pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving last year. I'll also try to do that again this year.
Did you use a pie pumpkin?
No, I made the crust, and then I made the puree, and then I baked it all. I made some candied cranberries, sprinkled that on there. I cut out some little shapes to put on top of it too. I thought it turned out quite nice.
That sounds very fancy.
Yes, I went all out. Pumpkin, you got to be careful because when you're baking a pumpkin pie, too little and it's watery. Mm-hmm. Too much and you dry it out. So really got to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, my dad usually handles the pumpkin pies,
but like a nice homemade pumpkin pie is choice.
Well, see, that's where's the line you draw for the homemade? Because I feel like with the canned pumpkin, that does a lot of the work for you. So I wanted to try it with
I had to grow my own wheat to make it.
Okay, I'm not taking it that far. But, pie pumpkins exist, and I know people generally never use them. Or at least it's not common because, you've got canned pumpkin, and it's just so convenient. So might as well use that. But I've always been interested in trying it out.
You can't just pour in pumpkin puree. You gotta add the seasonings and you have to cook it right and mix it in, make it thick.
Yeah, but you just pour in the mix and then add the seasoning and then toss it in the oven.
It's a lot more than that, especially if you're making your own crust.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I feel like crust is one of those things where you do it once and then you're like, well, that was an interesting experience, and then you buy frozen crusts.
I don't know. Homemade crust is pretty good.
Or I'm thinking of pastry dough. That's what I'm thinking of. Like,
that's right.
If you just want to make puff pastry dough, that's one of those things where it's like an exercise in futility.
I mean, pumpkin pie crust isn't like that hard to make. Mm-mm. I mean, once you make the dough and then you just kind of roll out, you just have to weigh it down and put it in the oven for a little bit before you fill it in with the pumpkin pie mix that you made. So it's not like that much labor. If it's like for Thanksgiving, I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Just doing it casually. Against pie pre-bought. But
while we're on the topic of Thanksgiving, what's your take on cranberry salad?
I don't have it super often. I'm a fan of cranberries. Like just in general, or like.
So, cranberry salad is the canned cranberry.
Yeah.
Where sometimes they just have the loaf. You knock it out of the can and then you just cut it into slices. Yeah. So you take that and you mix it with like Jello packs, and you put. I'm controversial, but I like chopped up celery in it.
No, cranberries and celery go together well.
But it's when I say cranberry salad, it's like the Midwestern salad.
800 calories per serving.
Exactly. Akin to the, potato salad. Because it's got orange juice and it's got sugar, and it's very... I don't think there's any actual cranberries in it, aside from the canned cranberry.
That's cranberry. That's all you need.
But I know that's a very controversial... Some people are very against cranberry salad most of the time. It is one of the most hated Thanksgiving dishes.
I didn't realize it was all that bad.
Speaking of controversial food opinions, candy corn. How about that?
Oh, I like candy corn. I mean, I'm not going to buy it any time of the year, but like during, the fall season, just have a little bit to chew on. I'm not going to go through a whole box of candy corn, but just like in like a nut mix.
Mm-hmm.
Or
everything Halloween week, my mom will get peanuts and candy corn, and you just toss it together and you just eat it.
Oh yeah, see, I like that. I mean, candy corn's a little sweet for my taste, so I don't eat that much. But like, bounce out with some nuts, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, the salt from the nuts really helps. Okay, going a step further, those candy corn pumpkins that are, you know what I'm talking about? They're massive.
I don't know what like
Google it, because they're huge compared to normal candy corn.
Oh yeah, these guys. Yeah, see, that's like too much.
Yeah,
because that means like just pure sugar.
Like even if you just bite it in half, it's too much.
It's like too thick. I mean, candy corns are good because they're like thin and triangular, so they don't have that much volume. Yeah, these pumpkins are too much. I like the corns.
Yeah. Now, what about turkey dinner candy corn?
Turkey dinner? What's that mean?
It's a real thing.
Images. Oh, like each one's flavored like a different...
Yeah.
One, the ever-loving Willy Wonka ass.
No. It's branches? I always say branches. How is that actually pronounced?
Brax. I don't know.
But one's green bean, one's roasted turkey, one's cranberry sauce, one's glazed ginger carrot, one's sweet potato pie. Not just sweet potato pie. And then one is stuffing.
Yeah, I've never heard of this before, and I don't think I want to try this.
Surprisingly, this is actually the second time I've mentioned this on this podcast.
I don't remember the first time. Green bean flavored candy corn?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll pass.
I mean, maybe I'll sneak some into something I give you guys, and just be like, oh yeah, it's just fun colored candy corn. And then you bite into it,
and then I am turkey. Like, wow, I'm like, blueberry pie. You're turning violet.
Yeah, it's like the people that buy and eat the every flavor bean shit just for fun.
Yeah.
Like, oh boy, I get rotting fish.
Buttered popcorn, my favorite jelly bean flavor.
That's a normal flavor. That was a normal flavor before that kind of thing took off. And I do not understand why.
It's the worst possible flavor to give candy.
It is so bad. Like when I remember when I was a kid, I can't remember what store. I think it was when my mom used to shop at Meijer, and this was when I was really young. And they had a Jelly Belly like display stand, and you could get like certain amounts of the individual flavors, and they had the recipes for them, right? So you combine this jelly bean and this jelly bean and this jelly bean, and it tastes like this whole other flavor in your mouth. And there was a couple of them that called for the buttered popcorn. It's just like, who thought that was a good idea? And B, why are they still making it?
I guess someone's got to be a fan, right?
It tastes like wet oil. Would you eat it?
No, I do not like buttered popcorn. Frankly, I don't even like theater popcorn butter to begin with.
Oh, see, now that's a whole different story. Movie theater butter, like you got to go light on it, just a little bit.
It does not. It does not look like butter.
It probably isn't. It's probably just oil. But it's. Sorry, I just got a pop up for M&M's chocolate popcorn flavored M&M's. This can't be real.
I do like chocolate popcorn, but
this is real.
I mean, I believe it. That might taste good. I like
milk chocolate popcorn candy. No, Cooper, you don't understand. So you've had the other M&M flavored M&Ms, right? So got like peanut M&Ms. Peanut M&Ms have peanuts in the middle.
Yeah.
Guess what's in the middle of the
popcorn, I assume.
Well, it says crispy rice, but I imagine they put butter on it.
Honestly, that might not be bad. I mean, chocolate covered popcorn's not bad.
No,
and if it's just crispy rice in the middle, then that's just that's good too.
Yeah, and they have the is it like M&M's Crunch or something, which already has the crispy rice in the middle, which I really like.
Yeah, so it's probably just something similar to that.
Yeah. What's your favorite M&M type?
Ooh, peanut butter.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that's so good.
Number two for me is the pretzel.
Pretzel's also really good.
I can like the peanut butter ones; those are pretty dense. I can only.
I can't go through the whole thing, but pretzels are a bit light.
The pretzel ones, I could get the family size bag and go through the whole thing, just because there's no stopping. It's just like you're eating a pretzel.
Oh man, don't get me in the mood for some pretzel M&Ms.
You got?
I already
bedside table or something.
No, but I just had a donut, so I can't even think about sweets again.
Well, you probably got a second donut. You could just have one of those.
No, I already ate all the donuts.
Oh, shame. All right. Well, we should probably get into it. I imagine we're going to rip through this, even though it was an hour-long album. So, you ready?
So that's a long one. Yeah, so, yeah.
Well, we got to introduce. Hold on, Cooper. Slow your horses. So, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Audio Shop Podcast. Podcast, not Padcast.
Padcast.
This week, we are doing Blessings and Miracles by Santana, which is a brand new album from Santana. You know him, you love him. He did Black Magic Woman, Oi Como Va. What's the other really famous one off the top of my head?
Smooth,
thank you. And brand new album just came out this past Friday, so we gave it a listen. Before we get into that, Cooper, you want to give us a bit of his history?
Yeah.
Before I did a little bit of research for this week, I thought it was a band. I didn't realize it was just one dude.
It is a band. It's like the same way like Van Halen's a band, right? But it's named after the lead guitarist. I mean, Santana is a band, formed in San Francisco back in 1966. So they're coming up on their 60 year anniversary.
And they're still touring. My parents just went and saw them before pandemic, I think.
Yeah, they're still active, obviously. They just put an album out. But it's named after the Mexican-American guitarist and songwriter Carlos Santana. So he's the main guitarist, but he's the front man for the band. Mm-hmm. And of course, they've gone through... if you ever have time, go to the Wikipedia page and look at their lineup. It's extensive. Like, I'm talking like literally from 66 to present. They've gone through dozens, maybe like 3 dozen people in terms of being officially part of Santana.
That's a couple.
Yeah. Of course, the only person who's been who's been in every iteration of Santana is Carlos Santana himself, right? So, he's the only one who's been in it completely. Though the current lineup is, I guess what they consider the classic lineup, which is kind of their core, when they release like their core stuff that they're known for, which is including Greg Rowley, Michael Carabello, Michael Shreve, David Brown, and Jose Aries. So that's kind of the classic lineup. And I think this album was actually involved with a lot of those, or at least they got back together to tour, I believe. I'm not sure how many of those worked on this album. I mean, besides Santana himself. Mm-hmm. But, he's had many successes. His first 3 albums, Santana, Abrax, and Santana 3, were all very successful. Going into, he reached kind of his commercial peak in 1999. So, 30 years into his career. That's with the single Smooth and Maria Maria, which are like his most famous songs besides like Oi Como Va and Black Magic Woman. Mm-hmm. I mean, his discography is very extensive. The man's, like I said, been active for 55 years, so he's released like 26 albums, and they all chart pretty well. I mean, he's released 6 albums this decade alone.
I had no idea it was that much.
Yeah, no, I mean, and they usually chart pretty well. I mean, everything that he's released albums, so almost all in like the Billboard Top 10 for the U.S. In terms of album releases. So, I mean, he's still pulling in the numbers all these years later. I mean, he's one of the best-selling groups of all time. 47 million copies sold, 100 worldwide, and very prolific. Like I said, this is his 26th album, Blessings and Miracles.
Wow.
So,
well, let's get into it then and see if it keeps the streak alive.
Yeah. So we'll get into song number 1, "Ghost of Future Pool" / "New Light." The shortest song of the album. It's really more of kind of like an intro opposed to anything else.
Yeah. Because you just kind of got that. What I like to call the percussion section is just fucking around before, practice starts for the band in the background. And then a little bit of electric guitar comes in before it fully breaks out to some soothing electric guitar and piano and strings, which is very nice. It's very short.
Yeah, it's like I said, a minute and a half long. So the first half's really just like sparse, kind of some distant guitar roaring, random percussion noises. And then it's like this very short atmospheric instrumental. So it's a nice, I say mood setter. It's like this album doesn't really have a consistent mood, as I'll get into.
Not at all.
I will say, I kind of wish, I'm not sure if you noticed this, Sam, but I kind of wish someone had at least like some like lead into the next song or any transition, because it's like this very smooth atmospheric piece. And the next song's like, a proper Santana, pop Latin rock song. And there's like it's just like right into it. It's a bit jarring.
Yeah, well, this one's so short that just as it gets going, it fades. It's like a 2-second fade. It's instant. It feels like the song was still progressing and he just fades it out and then the next one starts. That was really odd and very jarring for the first song on the album.
Yeah, I feel like there could have been like some some mixing going in there.
Anything.
Yeah, I've got some reasons to believe that maybe Santana wasn't putting his A game into this album.
Yeah.
And certainly the flow between songs is a aspect of that.
Yeah, there's
because I feel like it wouldn't take that much audio engineering to make this song have a little bit of fade into the next song.
Not at all. Speaking of which, jumping to the next one, Santana Celebration.
Track number 2, Santana Celebration.
Jerking himself off a little bit.
I mean, to be fair, the man's earned it. Like I said, a prolific career. So, he's one of the most famous guitarists of all time. So he can celebrate a little. Mm-hmm. And, this is a fun song. It's a proper song with Santana's trademark Spanish stylings on the roaring guitar with some like jazz organ backing breaking in.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, that's not jazz organ, Cooper. That's rock organ. Classic
rock organ.
To be sure. Every once in a while they flick on the Leslie speakers and away it goes. Especially during that organ solo at 2:15.
Yes.
Very, very classic sound. You do not hear it that much because it is just pegged as, when I say classic rock organ, I mean like 60s, 70s rock, maybe even late 50s. It is very, very early. Probably not even 70s, probably just late 50s, 60s.
But that's where Santana cut his teeth instrumentally.
Yeah, think like monkeys, animals, that kind of stuff. I don't have much other than that. It's Spanish-inspired drums with guitar shredding over the top. I can't really describe it as anything else.
I mean, I think it proves Santana's still got some good guitar playing left in him. I mean, the man's in his mid-70s. So, being able to keep that finger dexterity is obviously pretty impressive.
Yeah. There's everything on this song was all right. Mixing's good. It's a song, which is more than can be said for some other tracks on this album.
This in comparison, this is a celebration.
Yeah.
But we'll get into track number 3 then. Rumbalero, which is a bit of a change of pace as opposed to kind of the classic, rock sound that Santana Celebration had. This one's a very like a dance electro song.
Yeah, it feels like it starts in the middle of the song too.
It's got like a little bit of lead in where it's like just the synth.
Yeah, I don't know. Just to me, it's like suddenly I was in the song. It's like, okay, I don't really know where I am. But it's got a lot of bleeps and bloops, which is nice. But to me, the song doesn't really feel fully incorporated. The instrument,
like there's a song and then Santana's playing the guitar in the background.
Well, not so much for this one. We'll get to that. The guitar blends better on this song, but the vocals, to me, the vocals on this one felt very slapped on.
Who do you think?
And it'd be exactly the same.
Who do you think did the vocals for this song, Sam?
Was it Santana?
It was Salvador Santana, Carlos Santana's son.
Okay.
So a bit of a family indulgence.
Yeah, don't quit your day job. You're not a singer. I can't tell you what the vocal line in this one says because I don't speak whatever language it is. I'm
assuming Spanish.
Maybe Portuguese. I don't know.
They're Mexican, so I would assume Spanish.
Probably Spanish then. But it seems like there's only chorus, and I can tell you it's repeated at least 3 times and is very short.
Yeah. It's kind of going for like I said, kind of the dance electro, which I guess part of that styling is that it's repetitive by nature. So it's not like the worst version of that I've ever heard. I like some of the Spanish influences. Obviously, the vocals are very Spanish influenced.
Well, they're in Spanish, so
no, that helps. But also like the vocal stylings. I couldn't say off the top of my head what that vocal styling's called, but it's pretty recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Santana's guitar playing, is somewhat incorporated into it to keep the energy up.
Ever present, as always.
Yes, he's at least on every song of this album.
Yeah. We'll get to that. Jump into track number 4 if you're ready.
Yeah, track number 4, Joy.
Joy. Yeah, it doesn't sound like they're saying Joy. It sounds like they're saying Joe every time.
Well, the main singer on this song, and Santana's always been someone who heavily features guests. Or I guess, yeah. And the main feature on this song is Chris Stapleton, American country rock singer and guitarist.
Never heard of him.
He's fairly famous.
He's country, so that's why I don't know him.
Yeah. But, American country rock. And honestly, I think his vocals kind of work on this. It's almost like this, like, beach island-esque groove, which works kind of well with his kind of easygoing vocals and guitar licks. Though I feel like Santana's electric guitar is a little more of a sore thumb on this song.
Yeah, it's just a dumbed down instrumental line compared to all the previous songs. It makes sense since it's more vocally focused in this track, but there's the guitar and there's a simple drum line, and that's about it.
I mean, there's not like featuring any violins, but so it's a little bit of sparser of instrumentation, but it's obviously going for a little more of an easygoing groove. So I can understand that there. I mean, this definitely is where at least I started to notice that maybe these are like the guest songs, and then Santana's just like stating the background.
Yeah,
it's not the worst offender on this album, but like each song, like just look at the last 3 proper songs, right? We had a Santana classic rock song, an electro dance song with his son's lead vocals, and now kind of easygoing groove with Chris Stapleton. With the tying thread being electric guitar by Santana.
Yes.
So this album is incohesive, I think is a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, it's not cohesive at all. What's that one movie? Sorry, I'm trying to make a reference.
Ratatouille.
No, it's got the Kid Diddler as one of the lead characters.
What?
Kevin Spacey.
Oh.
They're criminals.
Oh, Baby Driver.
No, they're criminals.
They're criminals in Baby Driver.
They're repeat offenders. Regular shit. I don't know what it is. You're supposed to tell me what the movie is, Cooper.
I mean, Baby Driver has Kevin Spacey and they're criminals.
Stop saying Baby Driver. It's not Baby Driver.
That's what you're describing.
No, I'm not. It's where it's, the police always call these guys in because it's always them committing the crimes, and for some reason Kevin Spacey's there, and the twist of the movie, it was actually him, and he's a cripple in the movie.
Oh. No, I know what you're talking about. It's,
I can hear you looking it up.
It's it's Kevin Spacey criminal movie. No, I know exactly what movie you're talking about.
Usual Suspects. I got it.
Yeah, Usual Suspects.
So moving on to track number 5, one of the Usual Suspects. Hell of a segue.
Okay, minus 1,000 points to you.
Track number 5. Move.
Yes.
So I don't know what it is, but something about this vocalist actively hurt me.
Well, this is interesting because Rob Thompson has collaborated with Santana before, famously on the song Smooth, which is literally Santana's most famous song.
Yeah, and I listened to that, and I like that song. But in this song, I hate him with every fiber of my being, and I don't know why.
The vocals are definitely auto-tuned to hell on this one.
Maybe that's it. It hurts. It literally hurt me. I was cringing the whole time.
This one has big Target commercial energy.
Yeah, it's royalty-free music. That's what it is.
Which, I mean, I assume they were trying to recreate the magic of Smooth. They did not.
Failed hard. They created the opposite of Smooth. They even gave it a one-word title that rhymes. The only saving grace for this track is that it's under 3 minutes and there's a guitar solo. While Santana's guitar playing is ever present and starting to wear you thin, because when you do crazy licks and cool things the whole time, then it's not cool anymore. It's like
it definitely loses its effect as the album goes on.
Yeah, it's like the Syndrome speech. When everyone's super, no one is. And for some reason, the guitar line on this one reminds me of the Emperor's New Groove. I don't know why.
No, it's a very generic ass pop song. Kind of with Santana's guitar playing buried in there. Which, I mean, it's a bit of a running thing this album where it's like, especially on the verse, it's like, they sing the words, there's that little break between the words, and Santana does a little lick, and then it repeats that for the entire verse. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's like a Santana breakdown. Yeah, I'm assuming the actual instrumental was made by American Authors, which were the other feature on the song, which is just like some American pop band. Yeah.
Good use of brass in this one, just wish the song wasn't shit.
Yeah, the brass is kind of fun, but like it's just like a little lead into the chorus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty bad song.
Yeah, not my favorite.
I will say, not the worst.
Not the worst. Well,
surprisingly,
that's still ahead of us. Honestly, this is damn near listenable compared to some of the later songs.
Really, because I've actually ranked my least favorites for the given my hand a little bit here. I've ranked my least favorites, my top 5. So we'll have to see what the comparison is.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to track number 6, "Wider Shade of Pale," featuring Steve Winwood.
Another usual suspect.
Just going to use it all.
Hey, it took me 5 minutes to figure out what I was trying to say. I'm
going to
go for as long as I can.
He's an English singer that's kind of got a background in terms of kind of like rhythm and blues. He's more of like a blues rock kind of guy, which I think is fairly represented in this song.
Yeah, well, I swear this is a classical organ piece at the start, but I can't place it, and it's played over the top of what I can only describe as "fuck me" drums in quotation.
Elaborate.
Like it's a cheesy 90s sitcom TV show, and the characters are about to have sex, and those drums are playing in the background. Kind
of like a light kind of bongo.
Yeah.
Which is it kind of paired with this kind of slow organ and like finger snaps.
Yeah. And then there's a hell of a transition at 1:15.
Yeah, it gets into like almost like a bossa nova group?
Well, like it's like a freight train speeding up on the tracks, and then suddenly, you're on one of those kiddie roller coasters. Like it was gearing up to throw the big band at you, and then it just breaks out bongos. And it's like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, this one's a bit bare, and the chorus doesn't really like explode into anything. Which, I mean, choruses don't have to do that, but like
when you build to it, you probably should.
Makes the song a bit boring. I mean, Steve's vocal delivery is fine. He's an older man, he's been around for a long time as well. So he's definitely got some older man vocals going, but it's decent enough over kind of the slow organ presentation.
Yeah, his vocals are fine.
But, and honestly, I kind of like Santana's backing on like kind of a slower song. He kind of slows it down a bit.
Yeah, my biggest issue with this one was the percussion is mixed higher than the guitar. And there is a one looping bar of drums plus freestyle guitar and whispery organ. It's just there's nothing going on.
Yeah, it's a kind of a nothing burger song in terms of just like
and it's
being boring.
5 minutes long as well, which makes it even worse.
Yeah, it certainly overstays its welcome when it doesn't really build to anything.
It could have. It built at 1:15 and then just walking out with the big old birthday cake, and then as they get to the table, they just turn and smash it on the ground.
Oh, it's more like they turn. It's like a cupcake, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Jump into track number 7 if you're ready.
Yeah, track number 7, "Break," featuring Ally Brooke, who is a American singer, former member of girl group Fifth Harmony. I think they were like X Factor or something.
Let me guess. She's a country singer.
Oh, not really. Or at least I don't think so. I think she's more of like kind of a pop singer.
Really? Because one of my complaints with this one is as the song goes on, it gets more and more country. Like she just can't help putting vocal country twangs at the start and end of notes.
I don't think she's like country per se. From everything I've read up on her, she's basically just like a pop singer.
Well,
she was born in Texas, so maybe that's where some of the influences come through.
Yeah.
It's another bit of a slower song with a mild beat, kind of twinkling piano in the background.
Can strings, one looping bar of percussion.
Yeah, not the most robust of instrumentals.
Free music library backing track, as I called it.
I mean, I kind of like the duet on the chorus.
I don't.
With that, no, you don't like that?
No. Both forgettable singers. They sing fine, but it feels like I'm fucking watching American Idol.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not interesting.
No.
It sounds decent. and there's moodier guitar, and they have a little key change at like the 3:30 mark.
Yeah, that was not a good key change.
I mean, they had to do a
transmission checked on that one. There was a lot of grinding gears there.
It's a 5-minute song, so they had to do some sort of key change.
They did, but they completely just stumbled through it.
Yeah, it's not living on a prayer.
It felt like each part of the song key changed at a different moment there. They finally got through it. Jesus. Goes on 2 minutes too long. This is the bad song.
Yeah, they certainly could have cut this one down.
And, I always used to think Spanish guitar heals all wounds, but he has like fucking 1-bar music in this. It's very, very simplistic again. Like, they feel like they pulled out all the stops early on, which weren't very many stops. They pulled out 2 stops early on and then just never went back to it.
Yeah, this one's a little too mild for me.
Yeah, it's just forgettable.
So move on to track number 8, She's Fire, the G-Eazy song.
Yeah, my initial reaction was, what the fuck? And if there's any children listening to this, which there aren't, because I know I'm probably the only one that has this open in my other browser, don't listen, because I'm going to be cursing a lot tonight, if you can't already tell.
Santana,
the guitar does not fit with this song. Like, he plays 4 notes every once in a while. He's just like kind of hovering in the background while the song's happening, and then he'll be like, oh, I'm going to put a note here.
This is definitely where you should realize that these guest artists sent in some sort of song, and then Santana like freestyled over when he was listening to it.
Yep.
And they put on a Santana album.
What happened? And
I'm like 90% sure that's how the process went.
But they didn't even send in good songs. Like, it's my favorite rapping backtrack. 10 snare hits and then a bass hit. Like, this is so shit.
Yeah, this is like the mildest of like early like mid 2000s like kind of pop rap. It's kind of a pencil thin like drum beat in the background, and like I will say there's like a weird like a plucking acoustic thing going throughout like the G-Eazy verse, which I guess is something. I've never been a G-Eazy fan myself, and it's not like he's exactly spitting fire on the song.
Oh yeah, no, I love how the chorus repeats more times than I can count, and 95% of the words are "she's fire" in either English or Spanish.
Yeah, well, because Santana's from Mexico, Sam. It's called thematic cohesion.
Saying it in English and then saying it in Spanish doesn't mean you're singing a different lyric.
Yeah, and I'm like 100% sure. I'm pretty sure G-Eazy isn't Spanish either.
Yeah. I will say somehow the solo does manage to fit. I don't know how it manages, but it manages to work somehow.
Yeah, so, yeah, the song's, again, listenable. Like, if it was on in the background, I literally would just pass through my brain. I wouldn't notice it.
Yeah.
I'm
not going to get into the mixing on this one. The mixing is atrocious.
Yeah, no, like, the first half of this album, I mean, there's some, I like Santana Celebration. Huh?
Half?
First half?
First track? First 2 tracks, you mean?
Well, I was going to say the first 2 are fine, and then the other ones are mostly boring. I'm not going to say they're like anything super offensive.
I was offended.
Well, for me, it was boring. Like, I'm offended that it's boring, but not beyond like, and that's not like unlistenable. God. And then we get into like the next track, Peace Power, track number 9, featuring Corey Glover. Oh boy.
Really, it sounds like you weren't a fan of this one, because there's definitely worse offenders in my mind than this one.
Well, it's not the worst offender on this album.
I hope we agree on the worst offender.
It's pretty close, but this one's like the most like this one's like a really dad body like butt rock song. Like in like
yeah,
like
like in really let himself go for this one.
Like in like cartoons where like they have like a fake like commercial. Like a fake truck commercial, and they sing like this, and it's like, very overplayed and like on purpose. That's what this song is, but like not the joke.
Yeah. Hey, it does have the Animals rock organ in it, though.
Yeah, but like, this is like such a cheesy ass performance, and like just such a like a butt rock dad rock song. It's like actively kind of offensive to me.
See. I mean, I don't have anything else to add, so we can immediately run into the next one if you want. See, I agree for the most part, except the next one just does everything this one does, but 50 times worse.
Oof, my lord. Yeah, let's just get into track number 10, which is America for Sale, featuring Kirk Hammett.
This sounds like a Adult Swim fake rock song. That's the only way I could describe it.
If there was a fake commercial within the fake commercial that the last song was, like some sort of like exponential, that's what this song would be. At least Peace Power, I kind of got Corey Glover's delivery.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cheesy as hell, but like it was a competent singer. But the vocals on this song,
these aren't vocals.
Goodness.
This is one step above what William Shatner does.
It's like it's almost like intentionally trying to be annoying.
Yeah.
It's like this screechy, like off pitch, just repeat of the phrase "America for sale."
Yeah, it's a parody of a song.
It's pure ass cheeks. It's like the most knockoff, like quote unquote hard rock song. Right? It's like it's like the equivalent, like in like a TV show where like you're playing a fake video game. It's like the worst looking like shit of all time.
Yeah.
Except the like hard rock equivalent of that.
Yeah. And then my favorite part is they try and do call and response with the guitars in each ear, except they don't do call and response. There's no difference in the guitar lines. They just pick up where the other one left off.
Yeah, which I don't get, because the feature here, Kirk Hammett, is the lead guitarist for Metallica, right? You know, it's a band that people like.
No, not anymore, Cooper.
Not anymore, but they used to, you know, back, you know, in the 80s.
When they were good, yeah. They had a good run, and then it got really bad, and then
but they've made decent music.
The whole hole that is attempting to stream music these days. Metallica is to blame for a lot of the copyright issues of the 21st century, actually.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that, you know, they haven't done some crappy things, but they've made decent music.
For a while.
You know, so they at least have like a background. This is like, you know, this is like racing Usain Bolt, like, you know, out of his prime, but you still expect like him to be kind of fast.
Yeah.
Just like if he like was like chugging along like he was like 90 years old.
This is like if he showed. You remember that one episode of Futurama where Bender turns into a human?
Yeah.
That's like if Usain Bolt showed up like that.
Like it should at least be competent, right? Like I didn't like the G-Eazy song, but it was you know, it technically had all the things that made a pop song.
Yeah.
This is
Cooper,
like,
don't worry, the song's only 6 minutes long, the longest on the album.
Oh Lord, it's such a long song. It is. Why is it so long?
So I hate to break it to you, Santana, but I think there should be someone telling you what you can and can't do, because this was not a good decision. You will be hearing from my lawyer about the song.
Don't worry, it's also preachy as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the message, but it's so ham-fisted.
I couldn't take them seriously.
Lord, this song.
Well, don't worry, Cooper. It gets better with the next track number 11, Breathing Underwater.
I mean, Breathing Underwater is legitimately not as bad America for Sale.
No,
but
it's not.
It's not good.
But it, you know, the nice, calming, soothing sounds of somebody singing directly up against your eardrum. Could you get a little bit closer, please? I can't feel your lips on my eardrum yet.
So maybe she should blow her nose because it's a bit nasally.
Yeah.
Guess who the lead singer on this song is, Sam?
I honestly don't give a fuck. I just kind of
no, it's relevant. It's Stella Santana.
Of course, it's
daughter of Carla Santana.
Yeah, don't quit your day job either. You're even worse at singing than your brother.
Yeah, her brother was actually, you know, had a decent performance, but this one I'm not a fan of.
Like, I just tuned it out. It feels like an established pop song that he just slapped his guitar over. This is the worst offender for that one, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a very, like, kind of like watery, soft pop, like 2000s track.
Super generic.
Yeah, it's kind of dreamy. There's like some soft, you know, like strings in the background, but it's thoroughly ruined by Stella's performance
and the guitar.
Yeah, and you know, Santana's guitar links do not fit with this at all.
They actively actually work against the song. Let's just keep going then. Track number 12.
Track number 12, Mother, Yes.
More like Mother, No. Am I right, fellas? Dab.
Now this one actually has no features. It's just a pure Santana song,
mm-hmm.
And it's still not Very good.
Cooper, the one thing that I just love about music is when you've got the drum set in one ear and then you balance it with goddamn cowbell turned up to 11 in the other.
Some strong-ass cowbell.
Don't split the drum set. You can never... Drum set doesn't balance with anything. Don't do it. Don't put drum set in one ear. No one does it right. Just forget about it. The Beatles fucking ruined stereo listening.
They didn't know, Sam. They didn't know about headphones.
They didn't know, but Santana should know.
Yeah, no. This is, obviously Santana doesn't care.
No, he doesn't. He phoned it in.
Which, okay. This is your 26th album. You're 75 years old. I understand why you phoned it in. I get it, but why even put out this album if you don't care, right?
Yeah, just because he wants the money. And if you want the money that bad, just split it up into two 30-minute albums. There you go. You'll have twice as much sales.
Legitimately, it's probably... I don't know Santana's finding. I assume he's pretty well off.
You'd hope.
But I think it's more of just a vehicle of him just, A, wanting to have a vehicle for his kids singing, and B, just getting to work with some people that maybe he likes. That's... So basically, he was bored.
Yeah.
And I think it shows on this song, which is just a pure, no features, just Santana, and it's just a generic, whatever rock song.
Yeah. Yeah, let's just move on. I don't have anything else to say. Unless you got something.
No. The guitar line's decent. That's not fine. But yeah, nothing really.
Track number 13.
Right. Track number 13. Song for Cindy.
Man, I am sure Cindy will love her royalty-free Muzak track with Santana playing over the top.
This is better than the last 5-6 songs.
Nah, not by much.
I think so.
It sounds like royalty-free just junk that you'd get on the Twitch music player.
It's moodier music. It's got big elevator music vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I meant by music.
But after all the butt rock,
yeah,
at least even if it's boring, I want it. It's like a breath of air.
Now, if you got anything else to add for this one, we can jump to 14, which I think is even better breath of fresh air. But maybe
yeah.
Stockholm syndrome.
No. Track 14, which is titled "Angel Choir / All Together," featuring Chick Corea, is actually not to. I will flip my hand. It's my favorite song of the album.
Really? Wow.
Yes. This might be coming out of just literally the gauntlet that was the last several songs. But Chick Corea is who actually recently passed away.
Oh. Wow.
This year. Was an American jazz composer, keyboardist, band leader.
Maybe he listened to the early cut of this album.
Yeah, honestly, like I said, I think it's the best one on the album just because, it starts with a pretty interesting kind of angelic, vocal, just pure vocal harmony that kind of fills within the song. Before around the 1 minute mark, it kind of busts into a little more of a jazzy groove.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, but I tried to write about this one, but I couldn't put anything into words because I didn't know if I actually liked it or my standards had been lowered so much that...
No, I made sure to listen to this one, by itself, and yeah. I think it's a pretty good song. It's actually I said, I like that jazzy groove that Chick brings to the song. Obviously has a strong jazz backing, with a strong central hook. It's thankfully got no vocals.
Yes,
because this has been ass cheeks on this album.
Yeah, it's got some instrumental depth as well, which we haven't seen besides the first 3 tracks.
Yeah, an actual composer worked on this song.
Yeah. So
the instrumentals are actually decent. And I kind of like the interplay of Santana's kind of Spanish style guitar versus the jazz, right? They kind of carry a similar energy that actually kind of intertwines.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I don't think Santana had anything to do with this song being good. I think it is 100% Chick.
Yes. Agreed.
Frankly, I prefer just an album of this.
Yes.
As opposed, even if an hour of this would get boring eventually, at least it wouldn't actively fry my brain cells.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this was it was like you came through hell and then you got handed a nice, cool, refreshing glass of lemonade.
Yeah, which that honestly is a pretty apt opinion because I mean, some of the songs in this, like the last like 6 songs, are a bit of a gauntlet.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's a very listenable jazz piece.
Jump into last track.
The final track on this album, yes, Ghost of Future Pool Part 2, or just 2. Which I guess to have some sort of any semblance of cohesion on this album, obviously it's the first song in the album is Ghost of Future Pool. Yeah. And this starts pretty similarly, where it's like a really sparse intro, like just kind of eclectic instrumentation in the background.
I mistakenly had high hopes once it got to like a really good jazz starting song. But then, of course, I came back to reality as it stagnated and then dropped in some terrible lyrics.
Yeah, those female vocals are like odd and offbeat.
I think that what he was trying to do is, what's that one song from Pink Floyd?
They have a lot of songs. Oh, like
the one where
Whatever in the Sky. Yeah, like Great Show in the Sky or something.
Yeah. A great song, but
it
feels like he was trying to mimic that and just completely failed.
No, but you need like a female vocalist that is a good vocalist.
Yeah, and actually does more than just 2 notes.
Yeah, honestly, if they had just a decent performance like on the vocals, this would have been a much better song. Yeah. And it ends on like kind of a weird ass Santana solo. Not gonna lie.
We hear Santana playing his guitar far away, and then it fades into the distance as he's wheeled away in his wheelchair. Good riddance. See you later.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the worst song on this album, but like it's definitely a kind of a. I mean, I don't know what else other note you would end this album on. I mean, I guess it at least tried to be cohesive with the first song of the album. So, the bare minimum.
I mean, the only thing that's similar about it is it started sparse. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, looking back after listening, maybe my expectations were high, because in my mind, Santana, I think of Oi Como Va. I love that song. I listen to it all the time. But then I think, maybe just write better music. After listening to this, I specifically went back and listened. I was like, maybe has Santana always been shit? I'm like, no, his old stuff's good. Like I remember. It's just it feels like he was just trying to be front and center the whole time. Like there was a song and he'd just be like standing next to him in the spotlight with the guitar, like, "Hey, I'm here too."
I mean, it's a complete phone-in performance.
Yeah.
I mean, like Santana plays decent guitar. It's not like the guitar that he plays on this is like bad technically wise.
No, not bad at any points, but it's bad.
But the songs that it's inserted into are they range from boring to like actively offensive.
Yeah. Imagine Michelangelo painting art for a Taco Bell. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, it's essentially some person sent in a song. Santana played a little guitar over it, and he made an hour-long album out of that.
Yeah.
Well,
let's start off on a positive note before descending into the madness that is the worst songs on the album.
Yeah, I mean, I've already said. I've already said my favorite was Angel Choir / Altogether. Again, I think it's completely because of Chick Corea.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for jazz, and I think the Spanish elements and the jazz elements work very well together. Mm-hmm. This is actually like this is like the good song on the album. Some albums are like, ooh, there's so many good songs. What's the great song? This is the good song.
See, I mean, that is my second favorite. I think I have to go with Santana Celebration. Just for me, because that's kind of, it throws back to the older Santana, the stuff that I like. I will say it probably isn't as good of a song as Angel Choir Altogether, but I think I'm just a sucker for that classic rock organ. It's got that organ solo, and it has the semblance of, if it just put a little more work, it would be a fantastic song.
No, it's my second favorite song of the album.
Yeah.
It's like the only point of the album. Well, it's the second song. Right? The first one's more of just an intro. So it's like, oh, this might be like a proper Santana album. Mm-hmm. Before the descent into this album. Mm-hmm. I mean, Angel Choir, like I like it, but it's definitely not a Santana song. It's a Chick song. So I get where you're coming from there.
All right, so least favorite. I'm going to start with, I have 5. I have the top 5 worst songs on the album, in my opinion.
Oh, hit them up, and I'll say mine as you list through yours.
So number 5 worst song, in my opinion, was "She's Fire." Not the top. This is
the
starting at the bottom,
song.
Up. Yeah, it was not good. Santana didn't fit. It was a shit rap song to begin with. The backing track, I mean, the rapping was actually pretty good, but the backing track and everything surrounding it was terrible. Number 4, I gotta find it. Number 4 was "Breathing Underwater."
Mm-hmm.
You know how I feel about vocalist putting the microphone in their mouth and then singing. Really,
but what if they sound like Fran Frazier?
Honestly, her voice wasn't the worst part of that for me. It was the mouth sounds, the nasaliness kind of thing. If it had been further away from the mic, I think it would have sounded a lot better. Number 3 was... Excuse me, where is it? Number 3 was... Where is it? I remember putting 3.
There's only 15 songs on this album, Sam.
Oh, number 3 was "Whiter Shades of Pale."
Steve Winwood?
Yeah. The one bar of looping drums was terrible. Vocals were forgettable. Organ was so far back in the mix, it was like, opening a can of LaCroix. Worst song number 2 was "Move." Actively did psychic damage to me.
Peace Power is not in your worst songs.
Surprisingly, it is not. No.
See, that'd be my number 2.
It is bad, but
frankly, if the number 1 song was on it, it'd be my least favorite song. I can understand, like, compared to "America for Sale," it's like that, but like just expounded out. But
yeah, and then of course, worst number 1 is "America for Sale." That's a god awful song. Honestly, it got to the point where I was juggling. I wasn't initially going to list them. I just usually list my worst, but then there were so many. It's like I got to start juggling them. Like, which is worse than the? There was just too many. I couldn't juggle them all. So I'm sure I could listen to it again and find a whole new plethora of my least favorite songs.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it could beat "America for Sale."
No, that'll still be number 1, but I'm saying the rest could probably jumble around, and some that I didn't rank as worst could jump up.
Like whenever I do my initial listen of any of our albums that I review, I like to do it when I'm doing something else, or like maybe running or reading or something. Kind of soak it in kind of passively before I do like a more thorough, in-depth re-listens.
Mm-hmm.
"America for Sale" caught my attention, like in the worst way possible. Like watching like a car crash,
Except you're in the car crash as well.
except you're in the car crash, and someone you crash next to like a a Margaritaville, and like there's a live band playing that's like the local dads, and that's the last thing you hear before you pass away.
And as you lay there covered in cuts and dying, somebody spills some lime juice into your
face. It spills like a margarita on you. That's the "America for Sale" listening experience.
Yeah,
it's also my worst album, or the worst song, obviously.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into the rating then. I'll do the rating system text since you did it. Sorry, I'll do the rating system this time. That's the title of the slide.
Yeah.
So I read the full thing out every time I look at it. So here at Audio Shop, we use a lot of car metaphors. You might remember earlier in "Breathing Under," or what was it? There was one track with the key change. Brake.
Oh, you're talking about brake.
I mentioned transmission, lots of car references. So we decided to make the rating system car themed. So we got Showroom, top of the top, cream of the crop, 5 out of 5. You need to listen to this album. It is very good. It is one of our tops. And then you've got 1 out of 5, Scrapyard, bottom of the barrel. Do not listen to this. Get away from this. Might kill you, honestly. And then, high or low, everything in between, and it all depends on our mood for the day. So, Cooper, I know usually whoever reads doesn't say theirs first, but I'm going to say it before you do.
Oh, go for it.
This is a scrapyard, in my opinion. There's almost no redeeming qualities on this album. it is actively one of the worst albums I've listened to in memory. It didn't give me a migraine like Imagine Dragons Origins, but I imagine
it's not the worst album we've listened to.
No, but I'd say it's probably the second worst album we've listened to. Not only is it incoherent and then attempts coherency right at the very end, it's just a bunch of eclectic mix of random fucking songs that aren't even good with Santana over the top when 75% of the time he doesn't even fit.
Yeah, no, I think I'm going to have to join you on the scrapyard there, Sam. It's not like, okay, an album doesn't have to be like cohesive. It doesn't have to be some sort of, themed album.
No.
Or like tell a story, or like even like all the songs sound like the same thematically or like genre-wise.
No.
But I'd appreciate it if like the album like was written by the same person, or at least the same group of people. I'd appreciate
if the songs were good.
Like if there wasn't like every song was clearly written by whoever's feature on it with Santana playing over it. I mean, we've listened to albums, like good albums that like are feature heavy. Gorilla's The Song Machine, right? That's covered in features, fantastic. But it still keeps a semi-cohesive sound. Jumps around a lot, but
also the songs are good.
Yeah, great features. There's obviously some core ideas there. But yeah, this album is like, there's a couple decent songs. Santana Celebration and like Angel Choir.
And those, those aren't blow your mind fantastic. They're just okay. Yeah,
they're okay. And there's some, boring ones that are like actually bad, but like the bad ones are bad.
Yeah.
And like this album, so I mean, the only way I can think of is A, Santana didn't care, right?
Yeah.
And B, he, these were he didn't want to have the awkward conversation of going back to the guy who made the song, the feature. You're like, I can't put this on my album.
Yeah, I could excuse if the songs were good, and then it felt like, Santana was kind of like, it's a bit odd to have the guitar in here, but it's a good song, and the guitar adds a little bit. No, these are actively bad songs, which then he plays guitar over.
Yeah, it's clear that there's like little to no care put into this thing.
Not only from him, but also the artist that actually made the songs.
Yeah, it's the most phoned in. I can only imagine the artists are like, the credit. I made a song with Santana.
Yeah. That's the drive for this one.
So it's
Move was definitely written by middle management. I can tell you that right
now. It was the lead single.
We need another Smooth. Give me what rhymes with Smooth. Move. You're hired.
I think it's clear Santana's not going to be putting out another hit after this, or if he does, he's going to have to actually put effort into it.
Yeah, Santana should probably retire. Honestly.
I mean, he's still a good guitar player. This album, he's still technically, proficient at it. But there's zero heart behind these songs.
Gordon Ramsay working at a fucking Popeyes is what this is. Very, very skilled. Doesn't matter if you're making shit.
It's more like if Gordon Ramsay made like some sort of like saucer dressing. And then you just take like 10 different dishes made by 10 different people, and you pour that sauce on every dish, no matter what dish it was.
Except the dishes weren't good.
Yeah, exactly. So heavily disappointing. Like I said, maybe one or two songs that you could listen to if you really wanted to.
I don't know about you, but I'm not going to go back and listen to. I like those two songs, okay, but I'm not going to go back and listen to them. Because they're not that good. I'm just going to listen to the actual good Santana songs.
Yeah, no, not after this album. This album's something else. And not in the good way.
It's really bad. Now, the bigger question is, do you think this was worse or Coldplay? Because I've heard some real bad things about the new Coldplay album, too.
I actually have listened to the new Coldplay album. That was just released this week. It's not good. But like it's like very modern Coldplay in the fact that it's like everything they've done before, but like just boring.
Oh, so kind of like what was that Panic at the Disco album, where it was just kind of all the same.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's not like I listened to it, and I wasn't like, none of the songs were like, it wasn't like this time where they're like bad songs, but it's similar where it's like just a Coldplay song. Like they literally all kind of blend together. Also, well, I do have to deduct points for the fact that some of the songs are just literally titled by emojis.
You gotta be fucking
just like, guys, you're like what, like in your mid 40s, and you named a song the sparkle emoji.
Oh God. Okay, I think we're done reviewing new albums for a while. I think let's go back to some good classics. Let's get our heels stuck in with some actual good shit for a while. Maybe we don't do the new ABBA album. I'm not mentally prepared to have this experience again.
Yeah, for late in your career, you're not expected to pull out the best music of all time. You're a little complacent.
I will say this gives me a completely different outlook to Jeff Lynne's From Out of Nowhere. Like there's a stinker on there or two, but it's not like actively painful. So.
No, it's obviously he put some effort into it. Not peak Jeff Lynne, but he actually it's clear he put some care into it. Like he made this album.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say my only solace after listening to this album was that outro, imagining Santana, shredding his guitar in a wheelchair as some orderly's like, all right, Grandpa, let's get you back to your room. I used to be famous.
I think one of the biggest marks I can put with this album is I can't see Santana having actually listened through every song on this album.
No.
I don't think he himself has listened to every song on this album back to back.
I believe it. Yeah, this was real bad.
Yeah.
Really disappointing.
Yeah, well, it's been a while since we've given out a scrapyard, so, I guess it's bound to happen.
As much as I hate listening to them, I feel like when we listen to a bad album, the episode's better because we just tear into them. There's no fun if we're just sitting here like, yeah, it was a good song. I agree with you. Yeah.
And though it does make me slightly sad because, when you're tearing to like Imagine Dragons, right? It's like dudes in their 30s that, have sold out. But like this is like, Santana's a rock legend. It's just clear they doesn't care anymore.
Yeah. All right, well, now we're going to roll on over to the scrapyard, which is just whatever else.
Spare tire.
Spare tire, whatever.
Scrapyard on the mind. Yeah, no, this album kind of fried my brain as well.
I mean, if it wasn't an hour, maybe I would have been a little more.
But Sam, what song could you have even cut? All killer, no filler.
Honestly, just make it just release 2 singles. That's all you had to do. There you go.
Yes, just make it an EP. It would have been infinitely better.
Yeah.
So, Sam, what have you been listening to?
Same old. Lots of ELO. It's just my driving music, I'm pulling up Spotify. Give me a second. I listened to. I've been gearing back up with Hawaii Part 2 quite a bit as well. Just love that sound. And I am in an Over the Garden Wall mood. I've been listening to that soundtrack.
It's a good soundtrack,
especially with the colder temps coming in. It just kind of fits right in to that mood. And I've been getting a little experimental, listening to some Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Wow, underground.
Yeah. If you don't know the story, big reason we started this podcast was so I would listen to some new music for once.
To be fair, I don't think you would have listened to the Santana album all the way through if you had not been doing it for a podcast.
I probably would have listened to up to the third song and then stopped. But
honestly, that probably would have been better because then you would just thought, it's like generic as opposed to what it becomes.
Yeah. So a whole lot of the same old for me, but I feel like I kind of have to go after that one. I got to stick with the thing. Oh God, Elton John's releasing an album soon. Do you think it's gonna be bad? Now I'm worried.
Yeah, now I'm not sure if my heart could take it.
If Elton John released a bad album, I don't know if I could take that.
So yeah, I think we'll just stick to maybe a classic or two before we delve back into the new stuff.
I feel like we should still do. I don't know. We should still do the new. Well, we can talk about it later. We'll have to figure out how we're gonna do with that.
Do some soul searching after this album.
Yeah. Well, we're running out of ELO and Jeff Lynne stuff, so we'll have to figure out how we're gonna do things living, because we can't do 4 albums. We're not gonna be able to anyway. But what about you, Coop? What have you been listening to?
I'm listening to some good new albums. A new Remy Wolf, who is an artist that I quite like. She has been releasing EPs, and she finally released her debut album this week, titled Juno, and it lived up to the hype. I quite liked it. lot of bangers on this song. She has a very eclectic kind of instrumentation, and her vocal delivery is also very unique in terms of like her stylings. And I just all around really dig this album. Restored my faith that in music after listening to Santana.
Yeah.
Like I said, listen to the new Coldplay album. It's don't listen to it. It's boring. I'll also listen to some city pop, some good old Japanese city pop. Momoko's 2020 album Adventure, I thought was quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I also listened to Magdalena Bay, Mercurial World. Hopefully I'm saying that one right. Which was their new album that they just released. Which I think was very good. It's got it's very synth poppy, but it pulls from like a lot of different influences. It's kind of an eclectic synth pop. But I thought the album, even though pulled from a lot of spaces, it was also quite good.
Yeah,
I'd recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a very eclectic album and still be good. If the songs are good.
No, the songs. I mean, they incorporate things from like synth wave and like some city pop elements, and but I think it comes together to a good album.
Well, that's all we got, I guess. You should look at that picture I just sent, by the way.
No, yeah, I'm looking at it.
Thank you all so much for listening. It was a fun show, but not a fun album. So don't listen to it. You'll thank yourself. It's cursed knowledge.
Yeah, just you don't need to know this.
No. It's don't get the call of the void either. Like it will hurt. So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you. Oh wait, sure, we got to do all the other crap.
Oh, yeah, don't.
If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the picture of Jeff Lynne, the guy with curly hair and the glasses. That takes you to YouTube, where all the past episodes, besides the Supertramp one, are archived. There's a bit of a weird thing going on with Twitch exporting, so it might be a bit before this one's up there. We'll see. But if you're watching live and you'd like to, or if you're watching archived and would like to watch us live, Sundays 8 p.m. EST or EDT, whatever the heck it is, Eastern time is when we're live, and you can show up in the chat and call us names, and we'll cry while we continue to talk. And if you want to know what we're listening to next week, or I guess in a month's time, since Skipper's not going to be here for 3 weeks.
I am moving. It's a complicated process, but you can follow us at AudioShop14 on Twitter. We'll let you know what we're listening to, and we're listening to it. So give us a follow there.
Yeah, and now I can do the outro.
Yes.
So thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Catch you later, shoppies.
See ya.